What's up, everybody? I wanted to talk a little bit about the Canelo situation with the WBC mandating that Canelo's got to fight Triple G. 3 days. We have 3 days to go to find out if he's going to take the fight as mandated or if he's going to drop the belt. There's a couple problems I see with this. And if I was in Canelo's camp, I would try to turn those two negatives into a positive. The two negatives are, okay, at the post-press conference after the Cotto fight, they asked Canelo, "Are you ready for Triple G?" And he said, "Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready." And he flexed and all this, right? Well, if he doesn't end up taking that fight, he flat out lied to the people that back him, and he'll face a lot of backlash like he's already been facing, from what I understand. I don't get on Instagram. I do have a Twitter account, but I don't have an Instagram account, and I don't follow boxers like that. I like to follow them through YouTube and via Google searches. The other negative is Canelo demanding a 155 catchweight. That's a total disrespect of boxing and what the sport's all about, and he'll get called out on that too, you know, if he's adamant about fighting Triple G at 155. So those are your two negatives. Now, how can he turn into a positive? Well, I would tell Canelo like this. If he trusted me, you know, I'd say, "Look, Canelo, you're a good fighter. You're a popular fighter. You have a lot of people backing you. Take the fight. Fight smart. Create distance. And work off your reflexes. Try to go to the body. And that's the way you can beat Triple G, if you can get to his body, I think. But the problem with that scenario is, when you're going to the body, Triple G's, he's a technician, man. He's really smart. You know, he doesn't get credit for all the stuff he does so well. He's a complete package. If you go to his body, you're just opening yourself up for that overhand left or right, because he's got equal power in both punches. So the other thing that Canelo can do is to work the jab. Now, he doesn't have a great jab, but in camp he could really work on it and make it his primary focus. A person like the past fighter Terrell Biggs, you remember him? He fought Mike Tyson, and he's actually the guy that took Mike Tyson's spot on the Olympic team. I was a big Terrell Biggs fan back in the day, and actually he was the only fighter that fought Mike Tyson where I was rooting for Tyson's opponent to beat him. Other than that, I've always had Tyson. I knew it would be hard for Biggs to beat Tyson, but he had the prettiest jab in boxing. And it wasn't just pretty, it was hard. He got complete extension, which equals power on his jab. He threw it a lot, and he's just a very difficult fighter to beat. But Tyson got inside and did what Tyson likes to do. The uppercuts and everything, and his head on the opponent's chest and all that, behind that high guard. And I would tell Canelo, if you lose this fight, it's not going to hurt you as much as you think, and in the long run, it's going to enhance your legacy. Because when they talk about Canelo, and he's got a lot of years ahead of him, he's going to have a lot of names on his record. Granted, the first 80% of his record, 85% of his record is bullshit. because he went pro. I think he went pro at 14, 15, something like that. He was very young, and he fought a bunch of nobodies in Mexico. And I'm not going to hold that against him, but he's got a very inflated record because he's got, over 40 wins. But he does have a lot of good names on his record too. Starting when he fought Shane Mosley. Didn't get Shane Mosley out of there, but I remember he was on the undercard on HBO. I can't remember who I'm drawing a brain fart. Who was the main event? But he fought Shane Mosley. He fought Anguilla. Unfortunately, Anguilla was not the Anguilla that we expected. That he was past gone, and he was basically a zombie in there. And then again, I don't know if he was on the take because it definitely raises a flag that it looked like Anguilla could have fought back through the whole fight, and he never did. It's kind of like the Josebezito Lopez, but the what's that guy's name? The guy that fought Andre Broner and had a good showing against Lucas the Machine Batiste. John Molina. John Molina to me looked like he took a dive in there, got paid off against Broner. Didn't even throw, man. So I'm getting off track here, but he's got people. Yeah, we're talking about the Anguilla fight, but Anguilla's still a name. People know who he is. Not just the hardcores, but if you're even a casual fan, you've seen him fight. He's got lower. People say lower won. I honestly, I can't say lower won because to me, lower fought scared, and you can't expect to win fighting scared, especially when you're not the bigger name. But that's a good name on his record. He's got the Mayweather. This is key. He's got the Mayweather name on his record. He got flat out hustled in that fight, and got teed off on by Mayweather, and he gassed. But the fact that he fought him, that has significance. He fought James Kirkland. Everybody likes James Kirkland. Maybe not for his decisions out of the ring, but everybody likes James Kirkland, especially with that female trainer who he wasn't with when he fought Canelo. But the dude brings it. He gasses too. He's got a glass chin. He got knocked out by that Japanese fighter who got totally knocked out by GGG Glovokin in the third round, where he put the guy through the ropes and knocked him out on the announcer's table. But he has that. Who else has he fought? He's fought Canelo. Josebezito Lopez. He's a warrior. Granted, he was smaller, but it is what it is. So I would tell Canelo, take the fight. Do the best you can. And if you get hurt in that fight, throw all caution to the wind and go for it. Right? Now, can he beat Triple G? I don't think he can beat Triple G. As a matter of fact, let me say he won't beat Triple G. The outcome is based on how bad will he get beat. Will he get beat like fucked up bad? Like push himself through to take more punishment and something hits and damages Canelo permanently? It can happen. That's why a lot of these guys give up early. Like, I'm like, damn, man, like Rubio. It's like he knew he was going to get fucked up the longer he stayed in there. Monroe. Even though to me, Triple G looked like a cat in there playing with a mouse. He was having fun doing stuff. But he does that when he knows that he's got you. Usually he knows too by the second round. He may do that. He was doing it against Murray. He wasn't looking for no knockout. I saw him in there working on his uppercuts. It was funny as hell. Just trying to keep hitting that uppercut from different angles, different looks. But that's what he was working on in there. So it was like glorified sparring session. And Martin Murray's nothing to laugh at. That guy's a legit fighter. That's the guy you want having your back in a bar brawl. So what does Canelo do? We got 3 days. I want him to take the fight. If he doesn't take the fight, like I said, it's a lose-lose. He gives up the belt. He said he only fight at 155. Those are all bitch moves. Those are diva moves. And I don't know about you guys, but yeah, when I think about this, I've watched videos where guys say, well, I would highly, enforce Canelo, don't take the fight. Fight for yourself. Don't worry about the fans, because at the end of the day, it's all about you and your family. Well, I understand where they're coming from, but if that's the mindset you have, then you're in the wrong business. Because fighters are supposed to be fighting for a legacy and fighting for championships. And for the rest of your life, you'll be called champ. Canelo has to take this fight. Now, there hasn't been any news. And just because there hasn't been any news doesn't mean that's bad news. But it kind of seems like that. But I reserve judgment. I hope we hear something. I think it would be very shameful if Canelo drops that belt, especially after he came out in his post-conference saying, I'm ready. I'm ready for him. I'm ready to fight. I'll fight. Matter of fact, he went as far as say, I'll fight Triple G right now. We can put the gloves on. That's pretty bold, man, if you don't back it up. Like, you should shut the fuck up, because you put your foot in your mouth and you make yourself look like an ass. I know that, and everybody knows that Canelo enjoys the size advantage, right? Well, at 160, he's still going to have an advantage, you know? He's going to have Triple G probably about, he's going to have about 5 to 8 pounds on Triple G. He could have 10, but I can see Canelo coming into that fight at 178, 180, and Triple G coming in at about 170, which he normally comes in. Sometimes he comes in 169. He's come in at 171 before, but normally he's 170. Since I've been watching him the last few years, when he debuted in the United States against Proska. He's pretty consistent. Sometimes on the date of the weigh-in, Triple G comes in at 159. I've seen him come in at 157. When I saw him do that, that was against Rubio, I think. I was thinking, well, shit, he's trying to get down to see if he could really make 154 if the Mayweather fight presented itself. You know, Mayweather calls his bluff, and then Triple G knows that he can go down another 3 pounds. That's what I thought he was doing. Triple G is not a big guy. He is not a big middleweight. A lot of people say he is, and they show that they are just speaking out of their ass and have read one story and run with it, or a friend tells them. Triple G is not a big middleweight at all. Actually, Canelo's bigger. You stand them side by side. If they face off, you'll see it. Triple G is smaller than Canelo. He's smaller in weight. He's smaller in stature. Okay. As far as height, they look the same to me. I don't look at tails of the tape. I look at physically with my own eyes, because just like in the NBA, what people are listed at isn't necessarily true. I remember Charles Barkley. They used to say Charles Barkley was 6'5", 6'4". Man, I'm telling you, I met the dude. The dude's like 6'2", 6'3". He's not that big of a guy, but he's a badass. By the way, he's my favorite ball player of all time in the NBA. But back to the Triple G and Canelo thing. I'm very curious. I'm kind of on pins and needles. I'm excited because I really want to see this fight. This is Triple G's time. And I think ultimately all the haters are going to get what they want. Triple G will move up to 168. Me as a fan, I want him to move to 168. But I want him to unify first. I want him to have all 4 belts. I think Andy Lee's in a great situation if Canelo ends up fighting Triple G, because Andy Lee will be throwing a lot of money because of the significance of 3 belts versus 1 belt, winner take all, and Andy Lee's going to get paid, and he deserves to get paid, man. I have a lot of respect for Andy Lee. I've always liked him. I like how he interviews. I like his whole background with Emmanuel Stewart, how he used to live at Stewart's house, and all that, and that's awesome. I learned a lot about him when he fought Chavez. He looked great against Chavez, but Chavez broke him down by going to the body, and that fight right there kind of took a little bit out of Andy Lee. So we still have Andy Lee for what he is, but I think prior to the fight with Chavez Jr., he was a better fighter. So if 100% is the cap prior to the Chavez fight, I would say Andy Lee's fighting at about 88-90% what he, as of today. Fights take the fight out of fighters. It's just nature of the beast, you know. And I do see Canelo losing some on his overall, what he brings to the table. If he fights Triple G, I think he's going to get fucked up. Just like Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao, after he fought Margarito at, what, 152, 154? I can't remember what it was. That was one of the best performances I've ever seen by Pacquiao, but it's also one of the worst ass beatings I've ever seen. Pacquiao's face is all fucked up. He was slurring his speech. You could tell he had a real hard time processing the questions from Kellerman after the fight. That took a lot out of Pacquiao. Right there, that tells me he took 15% of his optimum performance as a fighter going forward. But you can look at Cotto, same thing, you know. He's been into wars, and every time he's dropped. He's just made to look good against Gil and Rodriguez, and, you know. But Cotto hasn't changed. Freddie Roach might have made him believe more in himself, but it doesn't change his physical attributes. I knew when Cotto fought Austin Trout that he was on a clock. I don't see anybody beating Triple G. I really don't see anybody at 168 posing a threat. 175 is a whole different animal. Von Farah, of course, Kovalav, Benavidez. I'll put Andre Ward's in there, but I think Andre Ward's irrelevant. I really do. I think he's living off his name now. He hasn't showed me anything in his last fight with that Journeyman Smith. He was getting tagged a lot, you know. I mean, I'm getting off topic here big time. But what I'm saying is I just want you guys to understand the way I think. And I'm not some biased jerk off that only pulls for my fighter, you know. Because I have my favorites, you know. I got Sean Porter, I got Triple G, I've got Manny Pacquiao, I've got Terrence Crawford, I've got Lucas Matisse, the Machine. You know, these are guys I really, really like. You know, Kovalav. I kind of like Pascal less. I was a big Pascal fan, but he really disrespected Kovalav in the press conference. That kind of pissed me off. But anyway, back to Canelo. You got to take the fight, bud. You're gonna make a lot of money, and you're gonna continuously make money. If you need any proof, you watch how the Ronda Rousey fight, post-fight careers for each plays out, especially for Ronda. She's going to get more money because people love her and they love a comeback story. And it's the same thing, Canelo. People are not going to jump off your bandwagon or jump ship on your ass if you lose Triple G. They like you because you're a warrior. They like you because they want somebody to represent them that will challenge himself. And he's very easy to root for if that's the path he takes. But if he ducks his Triple G fight and gives up that belt and continues with these demands at 155, I don't see how you can stay a fan of his. I really can't. You know, it totally goes against the grain, especially from the Mexican history. You know, if you're Mexican descent. If I was Mexican, my stepfather's Mexican. If I was Mexican, I couldn't pull for him, man. It's just like if Triple G was you know, told Ward, you know, which I hope they fight. But if he told Ward, nah, you know, I'm not fighting you unless we go to 164, and he's not bargaining, which I thought he was bargaining, you know, and I believe that it was just a bargaining chip. Instead of getting a 50-50 fight, he could throw that back on Ward, saying, yeah, I'll give you 168, but I'm taking 60, 40, 65, 35. But if he fought him at a catchweight, I lose respect for Triple G, because that tells me Triple G, the guy that I believe in, is scared. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. And if it does happen, I lose respect for him, you know? I don't lose respect for a fighter when they lose. I lose respect for catchweights. I didn't lose respect for Pacquiao when he lost to Mayweather. But it does bother me a little bit that he fought a lot of people at catchweights, but some of his catchweights didn't make sense to me because it seemed like he was putting his opponent at an advantage, like the Algieri fight. You know, Algieri could fight 140, no problem. Why the catchweight? It doesn't help Pacquiao. It helped Algieri. He's not losing speed or anything. But I really want to see Canelo step up and fight somebody that he's not overly bigger than, but he'll have the weight advantage. He's still slightly bigger, but and if he won, wow! I mean, he's the #1 guy. Oscar De La Hoya wants him to be the #1 guy, but you know, and he probably will be over the next 10 years. But you gotta, you know, if you're gonna challenge yourself, the risk of losing comes with the territory. And I mean, practice what you preach, Oscar. You didn't duck people. You took some losses. People love you for it. You know, he's got some haters, but for the overall, you got to pay your respects to the guy. He was good for the sport of boxing, and I hope he instills that same thing in Canelo, and not worry about the effects of how much steam Canelo will lose if he loses this fight. Like what kind of slight, you know, performance degradation drop that Canelo might have going forward. Gun shy, thinking longer than it normally takes during a split second. I don't know. I kind of ran on. I was all over the place. 3 days ago, guys. Just make the fight, Canelo. You're gonna have people jump off your bandwagon, and that's not good for your longevity. And then Triple G, you get him, take care of business. You get Andy Lee, take care of business. Move your ass up, start knocking out those guys. I think he knocks out Bondujak, DeGale. I don't see any of those guys beat. I don't. And then to really challenge himself, the twilight of his career, possibly he will move to 175 and see what he can do as a smaller man. People love the David against Goliath story, and definitely Triple G will be David at 175. But I want him to unify because that's a special deal. We haven't. The last one we had was what, 06. The guy that beat Bernard Hopkins. Shit, can't think of his name. Drawing a fart. He was in and out of jail because he shot his cousin or something. I just can't think of his name, but he was our last unified, had all the belts guy, and that was in 06. That's 10 years ago, man. So let's see Triple G take care of himself. The guy's most dedicated fighter there is today. I have maybe Chocolito, but I would find it very hard to find another fighter that's as disciplined and dedicated to his sport like Triple G. Right after I finish the video, I'll remember that other fighter is that sucks. I can't believe I can't remember. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.